Hello and welcome to coverage of the final round of this custom night magic for the MSEM format on July 30th, 2020. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching the match between Serendipigans, who is playing a Temur ramp deck with a lot of cards I don't recognize, and so may or may not have some sort of infinite combo going on, because I saw Contra of Bounty, which lets you play any number of lands per turn, and Xenoflora Expert, which is a card which draws a card anytime that you play a land. So I think that it looks like it's a Rampy Shell, but I wouldn't be surprised if in some interaction between the cards I don't recognize, there's an infinite combo in there somewhere. Meanwhile, Kevin is playing Abzan Toolbox, which is a mid-range deck which uses Ayala's Concord to search up any of its relevant permanents from its deck, basically. It also has Gathering the Gang as an additional source of big tutor energy. So Serendipigans opening up with a turn 1 Nebula's Call. Interesting. So just immediate fixing, and also gives you the ability to play another card if you have another 1-drop. I guess can chain Nebula's Calls. I don't think that... I guess also has Logger Recluse. So it has some 1-drops that can be used with this. And yep, there's a Logger Recluse. Immediately going to drop the land that was just tutored for. And Kevin with a similarly rampy start, this time enter. Okay, Serendipigans gonna run out of Roads Untraveled. This would definitely suggest a more like combo-y type of route, or it might just be another 1-drop in there for Nebula's Call. But okay, so it's gonna grab Earthen Armor. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each land your team controls. Is this just like... Okay, I guess it is a combo, but is the combo just Xenoflora Expert plus Contra of Bounty allows you to play any number of lands? So you just play every land in your deck, you put this on an evasive creature and win? It feels like that has like too many pieces to be viable. I feel like there has to be something else going on, right? Okay, gonna pay 2 to buff up the Logger, swings in for 3. Into turn 2 Kati Evelyn. I guess just +1s her and then passes. Kati is fine, but I think she is definitely one of the cards who's like very high ceiling, but like on her floor is not super great. Like she is best when you have Gathering the Gang, so when you use her -2, you just basically get to tutor up to 3 creatures from your deck. Okay, so Serendipigan's gonna respond with 3-drop of their own, dropping the Lumbering Ox. Another like big land card, and this one has Trample. So I guess the combo is Xenoflora Expert plus Contra of Bounty, draw your deck, keep playing lands, and then you have big trample creatures. Oh, and City Sprawl from Serendipigans. Okay, so I guess this really is just play all your lands the deck. I'm kind of sus about the win con portion of this, but I mean, the general plan seems fine. And City Sprawl certainly does get you out of some hairy situations when you can't just attack through the board. But I can't help but feel there must be better win cons in MSEM that when you dump your entire like land suite onto the library, right? Okay, so Kevin's gonna +1 Kati, swing in with Euroda for 6, and also draws a card. Okay, taps out for 5 for a whopping Scion of Storms. Also gets an elemental token in the bargain because that's how Scion works. But yeah, that's representing like 9 flying damage per turn. If Kevin decides to Kati again next turn, can make that a whopping 13 flying damage, which just about kills Serendipigans. Yeah, like I think Serendipigans is kind of like running out of time to assemble their combo. Doesn't have any blue mana, which is essential for the Xenoflora Expert. Okay, Serendipigans just drops a second Lumbering Ox and passes. Like this would be like good and aggressive if Kevin didn't have like insanely statted vigilant creatures, which all so Serendipigans can't even chump. Okay, is actually not going to minus Kati, is going to plus Kati on the Euroda, swings in with Scion, the Elemental, and Euroda. I'm surprised that Kevin is swinging in with the Scion, because Serendipigans can just trade with an Ox. And in fact, like, has to trade with an Ox, otherwise they just die. Okay, so Serendipigans trades a Scion of Storms for the Lumbering Ox, but does get hit in for a whopping 9 damage with the Elemental plus Euroda. Yeah, I feel like Kevin could have just minused Kati, and then the Scion would have survived. And then draws a card, but then just passes. Like, Kevin has 5 cards in hand. What does Kevin's hand look? And, like, he isn't playing more lands. What does Kevin's hand look like? Yeah, Serendipigans just concedes on the spot. Doesn't have an answer to Kevin's flying beaters, and just couldn't assemble the combo in time. Okay, Serendipigans opening up game 2 much as they opened up game 1. Just gonna drop that Nebulous Call. And this time, instead of a Logger Recluse, is gonna play a Roads Untraveled off of that. And just tutors up a forest from the top 5 to their hand. So doesn't manage to get a combo piece, unfortunately. Okay, turn 2, gonna drop a Verdant Sanctuary. And given that Serendipigans' sideboard is all basics, it looks like this is another combo piece. Just play a Contra of Bounty and then immediately tutor up 15 lands from your sideboard. Okay, Kevin, meanwhile, is going to play a Mana Ascetic and then pass, but turn 2 Mana Ascetic is not as attractive as a turn 1 Mana Ascetic. And there's the Xenoflora Expert from Serendipigans, so we'll immediately get to play 2 cards from... Okay, he's going to play Mountain from hand, draws a card. But Serendipigans only plays the Mountain from their hand, but doesn't play the basic that they could have played from outside the game and drawn an additional card. Oh wait. Or was that turn 3? That might have been turn 3 and... Yeah, no, that was turn 3. So Serendipigans already played a land to play the Xenoflora Expert. My bad. Unfortunately, Xenoflora Expert is a double-edged sword. Kevin did just draw 2 cards there, one from cracking the fetch and one from just naturally playing a land. So despite Serendipigans having the Xenoflora, Kevin does have the advantage here of having 7 cards in hand. So he's going to play an Animalian, then tap 2 Chili of the Underworld. Now, if Kevin had a way to, like a Pithwilt or something, to kill the Xenoflora Expert, that would have put him so much up on tempo. But now, Serendipigans gets to untap, play 2 basic lands from side, and then draw 2, so to kind of like beat out Kevin's card draw. Try and out aggro Serendipigans, but the problem is Chili will only manage to get in 1 attack because Serendipigans can block it with Xenoflora Expert. And oh my god, a second Xenoflora Expert. And oh god, there's a fetch. So Serendipigans draws 2 from the fetch, draws 2 from the Gleaming River, and will draw 2 from cracking it. And after that still has 2 lands that they can play. And here comes the land from the sideboard. Playing another from the sideboard, drawing 2 more. I think if Serendipigans gets a Contra of Bounty, can just play their entire side. But no, okay, gonna pay 2 Chromatic Herald. Oh, and this is where things start to get interesting. Trample, Haste, and Hexproof. Hexproof is important because it means lack of interaction, and the Trample is important because it means now Serendipigans, if Serendipigans decides to like drop one of those auras on their creature, can just dome Kevin. Okay, so he's gonna Nebulous Call, and oh my god, even more lands. Logger Recluse coming down. Definitely looking dire for Kevin. Needs 2 removal spells. No, wait, can't even kill Chromatic Herald because it's not other creatures you control, it's creatures you control. So Kevin will get to draw 2 cards off of each land though, because of the Xenofloras. But like at this point, Serendipigans creatures having hexproof means that like Kevin's main thing is to use those cards to outpace Serendipigans, which like I don't think is currently possible. Like Kevin would need Starbane Elemental to just wipe the board real quick. Okay, Purging Watchkeep, but more of these these bears are not gonna help. Okay, Kati coming down could do some work. Is gonna pump up the Watchkeep, Animalion, and Chili. Will allow Chili and Animalion to swing in for some decent damage here, and actually kill Xenofloras if Serendipigans decides to block. Okay, and here comes the demon from the Chi Li trigger, discarding a land. And Serendipigans is just going to take it. Takes a whopping 9 damage. I think cares too much about the Xenofloras to... I would have thought that like they would have sacked a Logger Recluse, but I guess not. Probably wants to try and like swing back in for the full lethal, but I don't know. Oh yeah, and there's the Contra of Bounty. Inspiriting it onto the Recluse. Okay, so now essentially just plays out Serendipigans' entire sideboard, draws until Serendipigans hits the aura, which allows Serendipigans creatures to get +X+X, which is the number of lands they control, and then because of Chromatic Herald they have Trample, so just swings in and kills Kevin. It's not deterministically game. Serendipigans can still whiff, but there's a very low chance of it. And just in case has the alt win con of the City Sprawl as well. He's playing a Born Spriggans. I guess because of Chromatic Herald they also have haste, so it doesn't really matter. So, Lumbering Ox as well. So these alone are probably more than lethal. So yeah, that is overkill game. Swings for a whopping 63 damage, yeah. And Kevin's all tapped out. We're going to a game 3. Xenoflora Expert is a hell of a drug. Okay, getting into game 3. Serendipigans continues with their trend of a strong turn 1 play. Not Nebula's Call this time though, just going to be a Roads Untraveled. Grabbing a mountain, so no pseudo ramp or like multiple cards played, but still definitely a faster tempo than Kevin's turn 1 tapped Shock Fetch. And no turn 2 play from Kevin either. Doesn't even have mana up for Pithwelt. Oh, but here comes the Nebula's Call. Turn 2, Serendipigans drops it. Grabs a forest, makes green, and then with that 2 mana, gonna play Explore. Okay, Logger Recluse off of that because it had 1 extra mana. So explosive, traded the explosive turn 1s of the past game for an explosive turn 2. And still no play from Kevin even on turn 3. Why did he keep this hand? And then Verdant Sanctuary from Serendipigans, just surmounting their advantage. Or sorry, cementing. And then swings in for 3 with the Recluse. Oh, and that would definitely be a reason to keep that hand. Has the turn 4 Ayala's Concord. But at this point, what do you even search for? Like a Planar Eviction for... Oh no, okay, yeah, Jadewald Reclaimer also works. So JVR, and then destroy the Verdant Sanctuary. Kevin must, like, to keep that hand, Kevin must have, like, multiple Concords, so probably can chain into another one next turn. Okay, Serendipigans just going to drop a Lumbering Ox and pass. The fair game plan for Serendipigans is honestly not looking too bad. Like a 4/4 trample with which also like conditionally impulse draws seems pretty legit. But let's see if Kevin now has a chance to like even up the score. Probably has another Ayala's Concord here and can use it to fetch up like a Mapumo, immediately exile the Logger or the Lumbering Ox. But no, Kevin just plays a land and passes. I am surprised. This was either an awful keep from Kevin, or there's some instant speed shenanigans in that deck that I was not aware of. Maybe multiple Pithwelts? Okay, Serendipigans just playing a City Sprawl and then passing. The City Sprawl is not one of the cards which is very good in the fair game plan. But gonna still try with the Lumbering Ox, swings in for 4. And there's the Pithwelt from Kevin, I'm assuming. Yeah, Pithwelt just to kill the Ox. Okay, Kevin swings in with the JVR. Okay, main 2 runs out the Devon. And then just passes? Okay, Kevin either has like multiple Pithwelts or like... or might have like Planar Eviction because... But if he has a Planar Eviction, why didn't he just fetch a Plains last turn? Yeah, like I cannot think of what Kevin could have in hand to justify this play pattern. It just seems so weird. Oh, and Serendipigans has another Ox. Here it comes. And Kevin doesn't have another Pithwelt. So what the hell does Kevin have? And Kevin just plays a land and passes. Kevin either has, like... Kevin's hand has to be all lands at this point. It 100% has to be. Oh, Earth and Armor from Serendipigans. So he's going to swing in for 8 with this Ox. I mean, I've been talking about Kevin not having stuff, but Serendipigans has not seen a land for a hot second, and also does not appear to have like much other gas, like Xenoflora, etc. Oh, and Kevin does have another Pithwilt, so he's going to destroy the Ox. So yeah, Serendipigans unfortunately gets 2 for 1 there, Earthen Armor and Lumbering Ox dying to that Pithwilt. On end, Kevin's going to exile the Lumbering Ox from Serendipigans' graveyard and buff up Devon. Okay, swings in with Jade Vault Reclaimer. Not swinging in with Devon, interesting. Okay, Serendipigans just takes 2. I don't know why Serendipigans didn't just block with Logger Recluse. There's basically no loss to it. Oh, and finally a win con from Kevin. Gonna play Mupumo, and I guess this is a reason that Serendipigans wouldn't want to block with the Logger, and also why Kevin wouldn't want to swing with the Devon. Because if Serendipigans had blocked with Logger, Kevin could point Mupumo at the Logger and kill it. And Kevin knew that if he swung out with everything, then Serendipigans could swing 3 or more with Logger Recluse at Mupumo, depending on whether or not Serendipigans had like a buff. So Serendipigans playing an Explore, and another Verdant Sanctuary coming down. So finally Serendipigans gonna start having access to the lands from their sideboard, and we'll hit that 5th land right now, and we'll also be hitting blue. Interesting that Serendipigans chose to get another mountain instead of a forest, because if Serendipigans had taken a forest, could have buffed up Logger and then swung at Mupumo. That would have forced Kevin to sack the Devon. Instead, Kevin's gonna Devon up, exiling the 2nd Lumbering Ox. Okay, Kevin's once again gonna swing in with Jade Vault. Serendipigans not gonna block again, just gonna take it. Okay, gonna ping face with Mupumo. And then just gonna go to end. What? I am like, Kevin's hand has to just be all garbage. Okay, gonna Earthen Armor up the Logger Recluse. And now I think Kevin is gonna feel a bit dumb for not Mupumoing this Logger Recluse. Unless, of course, Kevin has the 3rd Pithwilt, in which case, like, a lot would be explained. So yeah, Kevin is gonna put Devon in front of that, just chump it. Okay, and finally, in response, Kevin is gonna use Devon. That seems... I don't think there's any creatures in Serendipigans' grave anyways to use it on. Okay, just gonna exile the Earthen Armor, just in case, I guess. Okay, main 2, Serendipigans is gonna play a Manador, Keen's Devoted, and then a Gleaming River. Has Kevin finally drawn any card that's relevant? Any card. Okay, he's gonna Mupumo the Keen's Devoted, but please, God, tell me that Kevin has drawn some okay. Like that means Kevin must have some removal spell for this Logger Recluse, right? No, okay, so Kevin just misplayed there, so he's going to take it back. -2 Mupumo on Logger Recluse. Kevin has 4 cards in hand, but he might as well have none because he hasn't been playing anything for goddamn turns, and I hate this. I am not going to pretend anymore. This is the worst game of Magic I've ever seen. Not because of the players, but just because it's going so goddamn slow, and I have no idea why. Well, also they're both playing slow, so that definitely doesn't help. But like, God, like, how do you play slow when apparently there are like 0 decisions for you to make? Dog, don't get it. Okay, finally, Kevin has a reasonable threat. Purging Watchkeep coming down. Hopefully this will end the game in a timely fashion. Serendipigans drops a Xenoflora Expert. Could potentially draw into Conjure of Bounty and then just go infinite this turn. It looks like Serendipigans doesn't have anything though. And Kevin on end is just going to exile a bunch of Serendipigans' graveyard with Purging Watchkeep. Okay, gonna -2 Mupumo, exile Xenoflora Expert. Mupumo, though, can't do that next turn, so if Serendipigans plays like a Spriggan next turn, Kevin's in for a world of hurt. Okay, gonna swing in with both Mupumo and Purging Watchkeep. So Serendipigans is gonna put up no blocks, but Kevin, in response, is just gonna buff the hell out of Purging Watchkeep. Oh, well, I guess the hell is just 1. And again, Kevin has 4 cards in hand. What the hell does he have in hand? And oof, yeah, has another Xenoflora Expert. And Kevin has the 3rd Pithwilt. That's the card that was sitting in his hand. So there goes Xenoflora Expert. And there's the Abhorrent Spriggan. So suddenly things become a lot harder for Kevin. Because Mupumo can't save him now, and this Spriggan is huge, gigantic, thickenest boy. Okay, so +1's Mupumo to kill Keen's Devoted, this time for realsies. Oh, but Kevin has a second Mupumo. Lot is explained. So now Legend rules the first one, and is going to -2 this one to kill Abhorrent Spriggan. So this hell game is going to keep going. God, just end already. Okay, swings in for 5 on Serendipigans. So Serendipigans is dead next turn unless they have another beefy boy. 2 cards in hand from Serendipigans. Do they have what they need to win right here? Well, that's a creature, so they're safe for a turn. You knew the Snow Beast. So, oh, then that's a 10/10. And that's a 10/10 which allows Serendipigans to play their entire sideboard. And then they win next turn. And then Serendipigans wins on their next upkeep. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, in response, Kevin is going to sacrifice Jade Vault Reclaimer to destroy Verdant Sanctuary to avoid losing, probably. Could also destroy City Sprawl, but I think Verdant Sanctuary makes more sense. So Serendipigans does not get a free win on their next upkeep, but still, has a hefty 10/10, which Kevin can't answer before it potentially kills Mupumo. Unless, of course, Kevin has the third Mupumo or something ridiculous. In which case, it just kills Yugnu, and then swings in for lethal with the Watchkeep. I cannot fathom. Okay, so he's going to swing in with Purging Watchkeep. Can buff it by 6, and then Mupumo pings for 1. So, does Kevin have a second Mupumo? I don't know. Okay, so buffs it to a 5/5. Oh, Serendipigans does not have 10 snowlands. Actually has 9. Oh, that's a problem. So Serendipigans is once again in a dead next turn to known information situation. Unless, of course, Serendipigans top decks a creature. Yay, Abhorrent Spriggan! But Serendipigans still loses here. Because Kevin Mupumo -2s swings in for lethal with the Purging Watchkeep. So finally this game can end. No! No, come on, just end. Just, god damn it, dude, this is mocking me. I hate it. Oh, I hate it so much. Please, Kevin, have 2 removal spells. Please. I hate this so much. Okay, so -2's Mupumo kills the Abhorrent Spriggan. Now swings in with Purging Watchkeep. Serendipigans is forced to block. Oh no? Oh, can it be? Is it a planar eviction? Yes, it's a planar eviction! He did have 2 removal spells. Finally, this match ends. Finally. I want to say good games, but that last game hurt me. So I'll just say, this is the end of this MSEM CNM. Both of these decks were super sick. That last game did justice to none of it. I'm sorry that you had to sit through it. I'm even more